No one expected the substitute teacher to fight back. And definitely not like that. 1 second she was stumbling forward with her shirt ripped open, the whole class gasping in horror. The next, 2 students were flying through the air and slamming onto the tile floor. No one laughed after that. Ms. Riley had only been teaching for 3 weeks. Fresh out of grad school, barely 25, she'd landed her first assignment at Jefferson High, a school known more for hallway fights than honor roll. Still, she arrived every morning with a bright smile and eyes full of hope. The kind of person who believed in second chances. The kind who saw potential in everyone, even those who didn't see it in themselves. But hope has a way of being tested. Class 10B was her hardest. A group of students who had driven away 3 teachers already that year. They were loud, unpredictable, and most dangerous of all, entitled. Among them, 2 seniors, Logan and Max, were the self-declared kings of the classroom. Untouchable, protected by influential parents, and feared by most teachers. Ms. Riley tried everything: group work, creative assignments, one-on-one conversations. She stayed patient, even when they mocked her voice, interrupted her lessons, or tossed paper balls when her back was turned. But that patience came at a cost. The more she gave, the more they pushed. It was a Wednesday afternoon when things snapped. The bell rang, and she walked into the classroom like always, holding her planner and a stack of worksheets. The boys were already laughing loudly in the back row. Someone had drawn something obscene on the whiteboard. She ignored it. She was used to it by now. "All right, phones away. Let's settle in," she said gently. They didn't listen. She continued the lesson anyway, her voice firm but calm. She turned to write something on the board, just for a moment, and that's when it happened. In a flash, Max lunged forward and yanked her by the shoulder. Logan grabbed the other side. With one violent tug, her shirt tore clean down the back, buttons popping, fabric splitting open. The class erupted. Some laughed. Others froze in shock. A few girls looked horrified. Ms. Riley stumbled forward, trying to hold her shirt closed, her breath caught in her throat. And then, something changed in her eyes. Gone was the soft, hopeful teacher. In her place stood someone else entirely. Without saying a word, Ms. Riley dropped her books. She let go of the torn shirt and turned toward the 2 boys with terrifying calm. The room fell silent. Max laughed again, not realizing what was coming. Then, snap. She grabbed his arm, spun around, and executed a perfect judo throw. Max flipped over her shoulder and slammed to the floor with a thud that echoed through the classroom. Logan barely had time to blink before she caught his wrist, pivoted, and dropped him with a flawless shoulder lock. Both boys lay on the ground, gasping, dazed. Ms. Riley stood over them, breathing steady. Her torn shirt hung loosely, but she no longer tried to hide it. She didn't need to. There was nothing weak in her posture, only power. The principal came running after someone triggered the emergency alarm. Teachers arrived, students crowded around. Phones had already started recording. The footage would go viral by nightfall. In the office, Ms. Riley sat calmly. She explained everything. The bullying. The harassment. The final assault. She wasn't suspended. In fact, the school board backed her fully. Once the footage was reviewed and witness reports confirmed the attack, Logan and Max were expelled immediately. Their parents tried to fight the decision, but public pressure mounted as the video spread online. News outlets picked up the story. Young teacher fights back with judo after assault by students. Her quiet strength inspired thousands. But more importantly, it changed something inside the school. The students who once mocked her now looked at her with admiration. Some apologized. Others asked how she learned to stay so calm under pressure. Turns out, Ms. Riley had trained in martial arts since she was 14. She never used it to hurt people, only to protect herself, if necessary. "I teach with my voice," she said later in an assembly, "but I defend with my heart." She went on to start a self-defense program for girls at Jefferson High. Every Friday after school, students gathered in the gym to learn not just how to block a hit, but how to stand tall. Ms. Riley never raised her voice. She never needed to. Because the message had already been sent. Respect isn't given because of fear, it's earned through presence. And sometimes, a lesson is best delivered by flipping two bullies flat on their backs. Moral of the story. Strength isn't always loud. Real power lies in calm hands and a steady heart. When you're pushed too far, stand tall, hold your ground, and let your strength speak for itself.